Welcome, everyone! The longest race of the A squared season. It's the Charlotte 300. We're jumping right into the middle of qualifying here. Several cars getting ready to run qualifying laps here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Clinton Hardy. Thank you all for joining us on a wonderful Sunday evening of racing. Right now we're looking at James Pierce sitting, getting ready for a qualifying run. Jonathan Hohenbrink, Davey Houck also getting ready for a qualifying run, it looks like, looking at the leaderboard at the moment. 17 cars currently set to participate in today's race. Smaller field, potentially less cautions. Jonathan Hohenbrink will actually be the first one to start running. So here we go. The 20th, Jonathan Hohenbrink. And you got Davey Houck also on track. There's Jonathan Hohenbrink. Sitting in the number 20. On his first lap right now, we'll see what he runs. Fastest in practice was the 19 at Toby Estes. First lap in the book for Hohenbrink, 30.38. Houck's going to complete his first lap here. What does Davey Houck run? Houck goes fastest, 30.15. We'll follow Hohenbrink along for the last of his laps. Second lap in the books. Hohenbrink only improves by a little bit, still off. Here's James Pierce on his first qualifying lap. His debut in the A Square Cup Series. He's a regular in the APN Indy ARC Series on Wednesday nights. Three-time race winner in that series. First time in a Cup car in years. Completes his first qualifying lap. 3 have set qualifying lap times. Pierce goes second fastest on the go. Patrick Allen goes third fastest. Second lap in the books. What does it look like? 29.97 provisional pole for James Pierce. James Kerr goes fifth fastest. Catania finishing his first lap. Sixth fastest. Got Tom Sears sitting in the number 14 machine. The Race Arcs machine, the green and black. What does Tom Sears run for his first lap time? James Kerr completes his second lap. Does it move him up? It did not. Sears' first lap, 7th fastest. Catania completes his second lap. Improves, but not enough to get above 6th place. Sears on his second lap. Then it looks like we might be able to jump. Potentially. To... I'll double check here. It looks like Terry Gabbard might be available. Sears up to P2. Gaiman P3. Blankenship 4th. So Davey Houck has dropped down to 5th in rapid succession. I'm going to jump to Ryan Pinnell here. Meadows goes 7th fastest. Blankenship takes pole by 200th of a second. Blankenship on pole position. Starting his first lap. Withers, Gabbard, and Pinnell all on track at the moment. Bradley Wright in pit lane, waiting to take his run. What does Ryan Pinnell have? What does Tommy Withers have? 6 and the 12. Bradley Wright is rolling. We'll jump to him after we see Pinnell's first lap. What does it look like for the 12? Withers 13th fastest. Pinnell 14th fastest. A lot of time to gain. Toby Essie's on track. There's the 19. Part of the Bluegrass Bandits. Both Estes and Bradley Wright from Greensburg, Kentucky. Both of them are setting qualifying laps now. Bradley Wright just crossed the line to start his qualifying time. Estes following suit, so we'll see both of them update very close to each other here. Pinnell goes 12th fastest. Harry Gabbard in the Ford just completed his first lap. It wasn't valid. Wright and Estes on their first laps. Then you have Donald Ray and Mike LaJoy, who have not joined the track as of yet. First laps on the board for both Wright and Estes. Wright 16th, Estes 6th. Reminder, front row do not have to go through the heat races this evening. There are 2 heat races. One determines the inside rows. The second heat race determines the outside of each row. Get Wright completing his second lap. We'll see what it looks like for Bradley Wright and then for Toby Estes. Wright goes 8th fastest. Can Estes take pole position away? No, only 4th. Only 4th fastest. Donald Ray up next in that number 5. HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. The Rockwall, Texas native made his Indy ARCS debut for the 500 miles of Indianapolis. Finished 9th in that race. Now doing the longest race of the A-Squared Cup Series calendar. See what he can pull here. 2-time race winner, won at Daytona and at Dover a few weeks ago. What can he put together here? Mike LaJoy in the 77 also set to participate in at least the heat races going forward. Doesn't seem like he'll set a qualifying time here this afternoon. So he will start in last in, I believe, Heat 1. Donald Ray trying to figure out which heat's he's going to be into as he completes his first lap. Hugs the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4. What's he got? 1 minute left in qualifying, so he'll be able to complete both of his laps. First lap in the books for Donald Ray. Where does it put him? P12. Puts him between Hunbrink and Feemster. Lap 2, can he improve? Fails it into turn 3 and 4 for the final time in his qualifying run. What's it going to look like? Is it going to look good? Across the line. Does it help? Up to 9th. He's on the inside of row 5 provisionally. He'll be in heat race number 1. Qualifying is going to end on that note. 18 drivers present for this race. Excuse me, 19 drivers present. Jacob Laisha with James Pierce, our front row for the 300 miles here in Charlotte. But now we've got the heat races. Here's what heat race number 1 looks like. It's Tom Sears and Cody Pinnell on row 1. Davey Houck and Donald Ray in row 2. Patrick Allen and Kevin Feemster, row 3. Ryan Pennell, Tommy Withers, row 4. Mike LaJoy will round out the field in the 9th position. Small heat races, only 2 of them in this race. This will determine the entirety of the inside lane on rows 2 through 10. Alrighty. See the cars beginning to roll off behind the Ford Mustang pace car. Tom Sears, Cody Pennell. Both Pennell brothers are in this heat race. Cody in 2nd, Ryan in 7th. Cody in that 28 Red Bull machine. Ryan in the 12. There's Mike LaJoy in that 77. That gunmetal black DuPont Chevrolet. You see the number 8, the Budweiser of Kevin Feemster. Nice little throwback. A lot of good-looking schemes in this field. You got Patrick Allen in the 45. Not sure what's going on with Patrick Allen, that Coke Zero machine. A lot of good-looking cars. A lot of these cars thanks to John Smeal. Smeal Racing Designs. For those that are watching through YouTube or Twitch, welcome to the first heat race to set the starting grid for the Charlotte 300. Jacob Blanchard on pole position and James Pierce starting in 2nd in his debut. Do not have to take part in these heat races. They are locked in, ready to go. Everyone else determining their spots right now, starting with the inside of rows 2 through 10. Sears and Pennell at the front of the field. Pace car is in. It's on green flag. When the green light comes on, showtime begins. Heat race number 1 underway. 10 laps to determine who's going to start in row number 2. Who's starting P3. Sears on the bottom. Pennell will drop behind him in position number 2. Then you have Davey Houck, Donald Ray in the 5th position, and then Patrick Allen in... Well, Patrick Allen's in 5th. Provisionally, he's in the 6th row. You can see with... Oh, and Patrick Allen through the AstroTurf. Thankfully, the AstroTurf is there, but he'll drop to 9th place. Little loose out of 4 for Patrick Allen, but a really good save. Steers still up front. Cody went to the outside lane, gave Davey Houck the inside. Davey couldn't do much with it. Reminder, these heat races do not have cautions, so whatever happens, happens. Cody almost lost it. That will allow Davey Houck to get alongside. Houck in the 21, Cody Pennell in the 28. Davey gets by for 2nd. Donald Ray trying to take 3rd, and will do so. Coming out of 2, excuse me. Got Ryan Pennell coming up on the 28. Teammates about to come to blows. Got Feemster in that Budweiser number 8. Love to see that car. You got Withers, got Patrick Allen, and Mike LaJoy in pit lane. His car is all torn up. He'll accept his 10th row starting position here. Steers a 2nd ahead. Then it's Davey Houck battling with Donald Ray and both Cody and Ryan Pennell. Davey in the 21, Ray in the 5, Ryan Pennell in the 12, Cody Pennell in the 28, Kevin Feemster in the 8. 5 cars in a blanket here. 6 to go in heat race number 1. Toyota out front, Ford in second, Chevrolet third. Most of the Toyotas are in heat race number 2. 9 cars in the split, 1 Toyota, 4 Fords, 4 Chevrolets. That was Feemster ripping the wall. Oh, and he's hit the wall hard. Trouble for the 8 of Feemster. And that car is smoking. He'll have to come down to pit lane. He may just try to tow it. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get off the track as soon as he can. Sears still out front. It's now 1.2. Clean air is king. We saw this at Indianapolis on Wednesday night. We're going to see it here at Charlotte. So the haves and the have-nots. Tom Sears has it. Davey Houck wants to get it. Donald Ray third. And then it's Ryan Pinnell, Cody Pinnell, and Tommy Withers in 6th. Biding his time, letting people make their mistakes. It was fun to watch at Indianapolis on Wednesday. Same strategy applies right now. He's going to be starting in row 7 as it sits at the moment in 13th if things finish as they are. Good look at Tom Sears' machine. Toyota Camry. Bit of a patriotic flair on that car without going overboard on the red, white, and blue. Love it. He's coming to the white flag to end heat race number 1. When he crosses the line, there'll be 1 lap to go. And it's 1.7 all the way to Davey Houck, who is side by side with Donald Ray. Davey's on the outside, Donald Ray on the inside. Ray might take second here. He clears in the nick of time. Sears started up front. He's going to stay out front through 3 and 4 for the final time in heat race number 1. Tom Sears wins another heat race. Puts himself in a really good position for the 300-miler main event. Donald Ray second. Davey Houck third. Ryan Pinnell fourth. Cody Pinnell 5th, Tommy Withers in the 6th position. Then Kevin Feemster will come across the line in 7th. Alrighty. Now we get excited. Heat race number 2. Toby Estes, Joshua Gaiman, Bradley Wright, Cody Meadows make up the first 2 rows. Estes and Gaiman row 1. Bradley Wright, Cody Meadows in row number 2. It's going to be exciting to see how the 19 and the 18 work together, 2 of the Bluegrass Bandit cars. Jonathan Hohenbrink in row 3 alongside James Kerr. Then you have Tristan Catania and Terry Gabbard in row 4. Matthew Kent, race control, not racing in this event, so we only have 4 rows of cars. Alrighty, getting ready for heat race number 2 on the formation lap here. It's Estes, Gaiman, Wright, and Meadows. Meadows in the 11, Wright in the 18, Estes in the 19. Joshua Gaiman in that Ukraine tribute car in second place at 61. But there's your top 4, 8 cars running. It's going to be showtime. Heat race number 2, another 10 laps set to be run to determine the outside of rows 2 through 9. Green flag in the air. We are racing. Game on the outside. Meadows slotted to the inside between the two Bluegrass Bandits as Gaiman spins. Everyone did a really good job avoiding that. And that is already assured that Joshua Gaiman will have to come from the back of the field to make it happen if he's going to win the night. Estes, Meadow, Wright, top 3. James Kerr in 4th. Gabbard up to 5th. New looks for a lot of these drivers. Estes in the matte black auto owners, number 19. Cody Meadows in that FedEx number 11. Riley Wright in the red, white, and blue patriotic M&M's machine as Meadows goes for a ride through the AstroTurf. Keeps it out of pit lane. That was impressive, but he's going to spin on the tri-oval here. And tags the wall just a little bit. So now the Bluegrass Bandits have a 1-2 with Estes and Wright. That's what they wanted. Lets them work together early on in this race when the main event comes up. Halfway through heat race number 2, it's still Toby Estes leading. We're looking at Bradley Wright in P2 at the moment. One of the 2 Greensburg, Kentucky boys. Terry Gabbard up to 3rd ahead of James Kerr. But them 2 battling has allowed Bradley Wright to sort of sit back pretty comfortably here in the number 18 machine. He's doing a phenomenal job. Terry Gabbard trying to close the gap, though, in that number 4. Another patriotic scheme, that number 4, Mobile 1. Got James Kerr in 4th, Hunbrink in 5th. Catania in 6th. Meadows still rolling in the 7th spot. 3 to go. We'll see if Gabbard can make anything happen with Bradley Wright. He's got 6 tenths to kind of overcome here. But yes, he's doing a pretty good job of kind of walking away from it here. He's a little bit more competitive in this second heat compared to what it was for Tom Sears in the heat race number 1. 2 laps to go. Estes looking comfortable. Bradley Wright looking comfortable. 4 Toyotas in this heat race. All 4 of them running well, comparatively speaking. Meadows still running in 7th. Honebrink in the 20. Then you have Wright and Estes in the 18 and the 19. It's probably going to sound dumb, but I believe all 4 Toyotas in this field are on the same team. I believe all 4 of them are part of the Bluegrass Bandits, I think. I'll have to ask them after this, just to be sure. But I believe they're all teammates here, so big teammate-heavy event. Hohenbrink in 5th. He'll be in row 6 as it sits. We're on the white flag for heat race number 2. Bradley Wright in 2nd for Bluegrass Bandits. We'll put them in rows 2 and 3 in the outside lane behind James Pierce. Coming out of turn number 4, Toby Estes wins heat race number 2. Bradley Wright 2nd. Terry Gabbard holds on to 3rd ahead of James Kerr. Hohenbrink in the 5th position. Catania will bring it home 6th. You see he tagged the wall there in that ally number 48. And then Cody Meadows will bring it home last here, 7th place of those running. Gaiman will start in row 9, 18th position for him. And that's how they finish heat race number 2. Oh, it looks like we do have a 3rd heat race. Interesting. That makes things a little bit interesting. So there's 5 cars in this heat race. This is the last chance qualifier for those that are unfamiliar. So what the last chance qualifier is, the top 6 of each heat lock in their positions, rows 2 through 8. We saw this earlier in this, especially earlier in the season, where obviously you locked in the first 14 positions. The last chance qualifier determined the last 16 spots. Well, we don't have to worry about people getting bumped out of the field here. Yeah, Feemster, Meadows, Allen, Gaiman, and LaJoy, all 5 in your screen. Everyone's in the race coming up here. It's just a matter of where they're starting. They're not starting in the top 14. You see it's Kevin Feemster and Cody Meadows, Patrick Allen and Joshua Gaiman, and then Mike LaJoy rounding out this small little field of 5. A little bit extra practice for those that want it. For those that don't necessarily care, then it's not going to hurt their feelings at all. Alrighty, last chance qualifier coming up. 5 cars, racing for positions 15 through 19. And there's already a crash. It was Gaiman and Meadows that were side by side. First replay of the night. We'll use it for this. And just wheel spun it. Yep, just wheel spun. Massive wheel spin there. Three cars running for the top spot. It's Feemster, Allen, and LaJoy. Someone please let Patrick Allen know that this is not an official ARCS win, that this is just a heat race. Beamster tied the wall. Looks like Alan tied the wall too. Bit rough out there. I believe that was Alan that just spun. It was Alan, and it's not just Alan, it's LaJoy as well. Yeah, here's what happened here. Alan and LaJoy. Alan 45, LaJoy 77. Wow. Synchronized. Oh! LaJoy nose first into the catch fence. Climbed over the 45 of Patrick Allen. That was rough. He's still rolling. Why not? There's 8 laps to go. So Feemster surviving just by being ahead of the melee as it all happens. Six laps to go. Kevin Feemster with a 1.2 second lead over Joshua Gaiman. Gaiman might be able to come back here. .16 the gap. Might have stabilized a little bit here. Three laps to go. It's pretty self-explanatory what's going on here. Everyone that's following along. Feemster survived all the early melee. Joshua Gaiman's done a really good job recovering after having Meadows spin in front of him on lap 1 of this heat. This is the last chance qualifier. 2 to go across the line. Feemster just has to hold on for 2 more laps. White flag in the air. Beamster wins the game in second. Patrick Allen will come home in third place with Mike LaJoy in fourth. Alrighty, 5-minute warm-up. Everyone gets to spend a little bit more time getting ready for the race tonight. Alrighty, it's showtime! The 300 miles of Charlotte. The main event set to be underway. Looking at the front row is Jacob Blankenship and James Pierce on the front row. Tom Sears and Toby Estes in row number 2. Bradley Wright and Donald Ray in row 3. Estes and Brown on the outside. Tom Sears and Donald Ray on the inside of row numbers 2 and 3. Davey Houck and Terry Gabbard in row 4. Then it's Ryan Pennell and James Kerr in row 5. Row 6, Cody Pennell and Jonathan Honebrink. Looking down the rest of the grid, you have Tommy Withers and Tristan Catania in row 7. Kevin Feemster makes up row 8 alongside Joshua Gaiman. Mike LaJoy is on the outside of Patrick Allen in row 9, and Cody Meadows will have row 10 all to himself. Matthew Kent, our race control for tonight's race. All eyes on the 85 and the 95. James Pierce, 3-time Indy ARCS race winner. In his A-squared debut, Jacob Blankenship, a fellow competitor in the Indy ARCS series. Also a mainstay here in A-squared. They give him a hard time. Tom Sears, points leader in Indy ARCS, sits in 3rd. So a good Indy ARCS representation here in the Charlotte 300. The biggest race of the A-squared season, or the longest race of the A-squared season at the very least. Toby Estes in 4th, Donald Ray 5th, Bradley Wright in 6th. Then you have Davey Houck and Terry Gabbard, Ryan Pennell, and James Kerr. Through turns 3 and 4. His car pulls off. It's Blankenship Pierce, row 1. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Charlotte. Pierce took the lead early. Blankenship alongside Toby Estes. Estes, one of the fastest drivers throughout practice for this race. Now has to contend with James Pierce. A lot easier said than done for anyone that's raced in Indy ARCS against James Pierce. There's a reason he's the only driver with more than one win this season. Everyone else just kind of gets to deal with it. Right now, Pierce still leading over Blankenship and Estes, who remain side by side. Donald Ray in 4th. Tom Sears in the 5th spot so far. Mike LaJoy seems like he's had to spin out, but he's still rolling. You see the puffs of smoke from when he did spin. But still green flag running. 18 cars still in this lead group. Four stages in this race. First stage ends on lap 40. Stage breaks on 40, 80, and 120. James Pierce leads the first 5 laps. But Toby Estes hot in pursuit. It's Twisted Racing by Image Designs in lead. The Bluegrass Bandits in second place. How hard does Toby Estes push this early on? Seems like both Pierce and Estes prefer the bottom line. Seems like Pierce is having a harder time staying on the bottom line. But he doesn't want to give that lane to Estes here, because he knows that Estes will use it to drive around him. Love how this car look. It loves the 19, the matte black, and then the chrome blue. A wonderful look on that car. Whoa, that's Gabbard on the inside. Really good save by him. As Estes moves to the top lane, almost opened it up for Jacob Blankenship to take second back. Ray's up to 4th. Sears down to 5th. Started 3rd in this race. Bradley Wright, 6th where he started. Same with Davey Houck, 7th where he started. Really good run so far. We're on lap 8 of 200. Stage 1 ends on lap 40. Really close there. Pierce left the door open. Estes was going to take it. Pierce managed to get down to the bottom line. But Estes is not going to appreciate that. Almost to the bumper right there. Was to the bumper. Now the door's open. Estes has kicked it open. But Blankenship might help Pierce more here. Maybe. Yeah, he thought better of it. Pierce has the outside line, so he'll still lead lap 10. First 10 laps all led by James Pierce. But Estes wants it. Seems like Pierce is okay through turns 1 and 2. A little high there in turns 1 and 2. See what happens here through 3 and 4. Estes on the bottom. Pierce gives him no room. Oh, Pierce almost in the wall. Really good save by Pierce. Blankenship let off enough to not run him over and make it worse. But now Blankenship to the bottom. Really good run. As now there's Pierce. And Pierce on the wall. He's collected Donald Ray. Yellow's going to come out for the first time. Gaiman involved, Donald Ray involved. Caution number 1 on lap 12. Here's what happened. Going into turn 1. Because we're looking at Pierce on the outside, Blankenship on the inside. Yeah, Blankenship just tagged him a little bit. Cut it a little bit close, Ray in the wall hard, and then Gaiman nowhere for him to go. Let's go back and look. Who got a piece of... Looks like it was Tommy Withers. No, he got a substantial piece of that 61. Pit stops happening. First pit stops of the race for a lot of people, except for Tom Sears, Cody Pennell, Cody Meadows, and Jonathan Honebrink. Take a look here. All 19 cars still rolling. Looks like Ryan Pinnell. He is the first car a lap down, it looks like. Teamster in 18th. James Pearson 17th. Alrighty. So it looks like we're getting ready to go one to green, perhaps. We're racing once again at Charlotte. Steers out of Meadows, out of Cody Pinella, out of Toby Estes. Five on the blanket, Meadows over Sears, Cody Pinell, Jacob Blankenship, Tony Estes in the top five. As we're on lap 18 of 200. Now on lap 20, it's still Meadows, Pinnell, Blankenship. Tom Sears continues to drop back. Stuck on that outside line. Slowing everyone up a little bit. You got Jacob Blankenship on the inside in the 85. Toby Estes in the 19. Bradley Wright in the 18. Also in the conversation. Then it's Hunter Brink in the 20. Davey Halk in the 21. Catania in the 48. Battling with James Pierce in the 95. Pierce recovering to the top 10 once again. Wide for the race lead. You're watching it all unfold. We don't want to interrupt most of it because one of the sounds do most of the talking. But Meadows got split 3 wide. Cody Pinnell to the front of the field. Craziness in the top 10. All over the place. There's Gaiman. There's Pierce. Sears, Wright, Estes, Meadows. It's 3 wide still. Pierce got around Sears. James Pierce up to 5th. Watching this battle for the top 4 as it develops. Pierce on the outside of Estes here. He is moving. Now he's starting to find confidence in the car. It's Pierce alongside Cody Pinnell. It's Blankenship and Estes. Blankenship and Estes have been alongside each other most of this race so far. James Pierce just charged from 17th on the grid on that restart to get back to the front. Back to the point, James Pierce. And the yellow is out. Mike LaJoie's in it. He's come to a stop. Looks like it might be LaJoie and Catania. What happens here? Oh no! LaJoie thought he was clear of Gabbard. Catania moved to the inside and moved to the grass, the AstroTurf, to avoid it. But yeah, that was just LaJoie thinking he was clear of Gabbard and he wasn't. That's rough. We'll get another look at it. Get a closer look at it. We're going to slow it down for you. Yeah, he just thinks he's clear of Gabbard, and he's not. Gabbard was already almost on the grass, and nothing that 4-car can do there. And you see that gunmetal car, that gunmetal black car, go into a pirouette. And everyone does a really good job of avoiding him. Secondary impact on the back of the car. Beamster tagged the wall a little bit trying to get around him. Everyone else made it through. So troubles for Mike LaJoy. James Pierce at the race lead. So it's Pierce, Pinnell, Estes, Blankenship, Gaiman, right, top 6. You see the choose cone being used here. Pierce using the last chicane. I have to remind him that the oval for Indy Arcs was a couple months ago. All right, pace car is off. Pierce goes. And away we go once again. It's a sprint race to the end of stage 1. Pierce well and truly on his own at the moment. There's Blankenship, Ryan, Cody Pennell, Joshua Gaiman, Cody Meadows, Toby Estes sitting in the 6th spot. Battle for 6th right behind Estes now. Estes gotten clear of it. See Davey Howard, Donald Ray, Cody Meadows, and Bradley Wright all battling 6th through 9th. Tom Sears in the 10th spot on his own. Alrighty, going to 3 to go in stage number 1. Battle for second between 2 of the yellow and blue cars. The 61 of Joshua Gaiman and the 85 of Jacob Blankenship. '61 of Gaiman on the inside, coming to the white flag of stage 1. Caution comes out at the end of this lap. Gaiman takes second away. Temporarily, we'll see how it is coming across the line to end stage number 1. Gaiman might have it pretty well and steady. Here he does. Coming to the checkered flag, James Pierce takes the first stage on his debut in A squared, and the 10 bonus points that go with it. Gaiman second, Blankenship third, Estes in fourth, Cody Pennell fifth. You see the top 10 on your screen. Bradley Wright taking the last stage point in 10th. So everyone taking pit stops here. Patrick Allen, I think, might have missed his pit box. Blankenship did jump Pierce on pit lane, though. We'll have to keep an eye on Patrick Allen in that 45. Alrighty, here we go. This is where it gets fun. Blankenship on the outside, Estes on the inside, Pierce on the outside, Cody Pennell on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Really interesting restart there. Jacob Blankenship will go green here over Toby Estes. Kind of got everyone off guard. The top three, Blankenship, Estes, and Pierce on that restart. But now Cody Bennell in 4th, Joshua Game in 5th, Ray 6th, Sears 7th, Hauck 8th, Gabbard 9th, Mike LaJoy in the 10th spot. Here as we are beginning to settle into stage number 2. Blankenship doing a pretty good job holding on to that race lead. Had a really good restart there. Caught everyone off guard. Now Pierce is held up by Toby Estes. Pierce has gone around Estes here. Estes holding on to 3rd. Cody Bennell holding on to 4th pretty well. Donald Ray has to deal now with Tom Sears. And this is the battle for the top 5 between Donald Ray, Tom Sears, and Davey Hauck is in this mix as well, the 21, just behind the 14 of Tom Sears. Gap in the top 3 has calmed down a little bit. Yeah, Blankenship, Pierce, and Estes top 3. You see Blankenship sitting in the race lead. It's Pierce and Estes battling now for second place. Cody Pinnell is in this conversation as well. Don't sleep on that number 28. As Estes takes second away. Battle for second heating up here. The battle for the first, technically, with Blankenship not too far ahead. But this is what it looks like, the top four. So Pierce beginning to fall backwards a little bit here. Watching that number 95 fall backwards a little bit more and more. Trying to hold on at this point to P3. See if it works out. So 3 cars out of this race. You got Ryan Pinnell out. Well, technically 2 cars. Ryan Pinnell's out. Kevin Feimster's out. Matthew Kent, our race control, didn't start the race because he's in race control. So only 2 cars out. 17 still running. And all 17 cars still running on the lead lap. It's been a caution-free stage number 2 for those that are just now jumping in. Looks like Ryan is still rolling. There's Ryan Pinnell. He is still rolling. Got Toby Estes in the second spot, and then number 19. Got Rick James TV, who broadcasted the 500 miles of Indianapolis on Wednesday, cheering on Toby Estes and Tom Sears. Estes in second, Tom Sears in seventh. Both of his picks doing pretty well so far in the early goings of this 300-mile event. Cody Pinnell third, James Pearson fourth. His first stock car race, he led and won stage 1. But now, a bit more harsh reality. He was able to kind of sprint through the field in stage 1 with the cautions. We haven't had that in stage 2. It's been caution-free. And that does make a very big difference in how you handle each stage. Tire wear is important. The tires fall away pretty quick on these cars. James Pierce learned that a little bit. He was fighting so hard to try to get to Blankenship that he didn't have anything once he got to him. And now it shows. Pinnell, I think, wasted a lot of his stuff trying to get around James Pierce. So really, it leaves just Toby Estes trying to chase down Jacob Blankenship, our race leader right here. But there's Toby Estes. I don't think Estes can really do much right now. I think it's largely you just have to wait until stage 2. You have to wait until the stage break to end stage 2. Donald Ray, it's calmed down here. Donald Ray 5th, Davey Houck 6th, Tom Sears in 7th. So it's calmed down throughout the field here a little bit. There's Mike LaJoy in 8th, Cody Meadows in 9th. Bit of a battle here between Meadows, Gaiman, Withers, and Riley Wright. Joshua Gaiman in the top 10. Withers and Wright trying to find their way into the top 10 to get those stage points. Riley Wright finished 10th at the end of stage 1. But he's going to have to try to do it again, and he's only got 13 laps to do so. Got Jonathan Hohenbrink pretty well off the pace here. Not been in trouble, just been a quiet race for the 20 right now. But quiet sometimes is good. You're not in trouble, you're not in danger. Just minding your P's and Q's, waiting for this race to kind of come to you. We'll see what that 20 can do. James Kerr, our Fontana race winner, locked himself into the chase. Or into the playoffs, I guess is the proper term. Sitting 14th, I had a Tristan Catania. Terry Gabbard is ahead of Patrick Allen. Here's Patrick Allen, the last car on the lead lap. 17 cars. There's Terry Gabbard in the 4. Anyone know the price for a Ryan Pennell's wheel? Asking for a friend. That is Dustin Painter that sent that in. Someone should tell Ryan Pennell that if he finishes behind Patrick Allen, then Patrick Allen's the new owner of ARCS. He will make up 26 laps, lightning quick. That'll be the fastest that Ryan has gone in his life. It'll be hysterical. 10 laps to go in stage 2. Remember, stage breaks 40, 80, and 120, so the end of stage 2 is on lap 80, or at the end of lap 80. And then we have another 40 lap stage, stage 3, and then stage 4, the last stage of the race, is 80 laps. Looks like Patrick Allen might be in threat of going a lap down here. 30-second laps is what Patrick Allen is running. Jacob Blankenship running 29.8-second laps. So the lap times aren't as crazy different as they were. They've kind of mellowed out a little bit. Patrick Allen still kind of hoping that he can stay on the lead lap here. Don't want to have to use Lucky Dog. Seems like he's had a little bit of a problem. But right now, he should be safely still on the lead lap. There was a little bit of a wager. I don't know who made that wager. But someone wagered that he wouldn't complete 50 laps. He's on lap 73. He's on the lead lap, which means he's in a pretty good shot right now. Again, we're looking at Jacob Blankenship, P1 at the moment, that 85, a rocket ship. Estes has not been able to touch him. Cody Pennell actually might be able to do something about it. There's Pennell. We'll zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit of idea as to where everyone's at here. There's Blankenship behind the leaderboard. It's Blankenship, Estes, Pennell. James Pierce has fallen back almost to the clutches of Donald Ray. 6 to go in stage 2. Davey Halkin 6th, 7th is Tom Sears, 8th Mike LaJoy, 9th Joshua Gaiman, 10th is Cody Meadows at the moment. It'll be an interesting battle for 10th shaping up between Meadows and Withers and Bradley Wright. See if we can pivot to that. We're going to make sure that Pennell doesn't make a pass on Estes here in the next 2 or 3 laps, and then we'll focus on that battle for 10th. Biz Kenner of the race so far, the 77 of Mike LaJoy up 10 spots in 8th place. Cody Pennell's up 8 spots from where he started. He started 11th. He's up to 3rd. Cody Meadows up 9 spots from dead last in this field in 19th all the way up to 10th at the moment. Really good run from Matt. I think we need to focus on that battle for the 10th spot. There it is. And yeah, that's a pretty good gaggle of cars. Ryan Pennell's in this conversation, but he's, again, 26 laps down. There's Cody Meadows in the 11. Then you have Bradley Wright and Tommy Withers, who have to kind of make way for Pennell, who's on way fresher tires. Patrick Allen comes into pit lane. Don't see any damage on that car. Might be a scheduled pit stop here. Here's our race leader, Jacob Blankenship, coming to the white flag in stage 2. And this battle is getting a little more intense. Now that Pinnell's gotten by, this is the battle for 10th place. Don't believe they're teammates. I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe they're Bluegrass Bandits teammates. I should probably actually look. Coming to the white flag. There they go. There's smoke somewhere. Was that Pierce? It was Pierce. What happened to James Pierce? We'll have to look at it here in a minute. Blankenship takes the end of stage 2. Caution comes out. Pierce does not lose a lap here. But Bradley Wright, thanks to Pierce spinning out, did get the last stage point once again. Good run for him. So the stage break comes in the nick of time. James Pierce spun. We saw him spin here. Oh, he just tagged the wall hard. Donald Ray took to the AstroTurf. Pierce trying to save it without completely backing out of it, and it just didn't work. And he just kind of locks up, let everyone kind of go here. You see that car is not happy. But there's Bradley Wright in 10th place. Interestingly enough, Blankenship's the only one that came in that lap, that time. It looks like, well, him and Pierce. So everyone's still rolling here. Cody Pinnell, I think, has inherited the lead here. So Pinnell is the race leader over Davey Houck, Donald Ray, Mike LaJoy, Joshua Gaiman, Tom Sears, Cody Meadows, Tristan Catania, Jonathan Hohenbrink. Now, interestingly enough, James Pierce and Patrick Allen both are now a lap down. Patrick Allen several laps down. James Pierce a lap down as well. Blankenship, I believe, he entered a closed pit, which is why he was in pit lane before. So that's an interesting little tidbit how this race has sort of evolved. Now, two of the top four cars not in contention here. Alrighty, green flag in the air. It's Pinnell in the race lead over Davey Houck, Joshua Gaiman, and Donald Ray. Stage 3 underway. Yellow's out. It's Withers. Withers and Blankenship, it looks like. What happened here? Get a good look at it. Oh, it started in front of him. It started with Hohenbrink and Meadows. That's unfortunate there. It'll be interesting to see if Pierce will get a lucky dog here. Alrighty. Pierce, it looks like, did get a lap back here. Alrighty, everyone using the choose cone here. Pinnell to the bottom, Hauk to the outside. Then it's Donald Ray and Joshua Gaiman in row 2. It'll be Tom Sears and Tristan Catania, row 3. Gonna be fun to watch. Here we go. All right. Getting ready to go back to green here in stage number 3. It's Pinnell and Hauk on the in row 1. Pinnell on the inside, Hauk on the outside. Green flag in the air. We're racing once again at Charlotte. And Pinnell got a really good run. Hauk shuts the door on Donald Ray. The scramble for second is on. Yellow's out. And Cody Meadows is why. And that's a pretty good example of why. Gabbard's on pit lane. Looks like he's got damage. Oh, Hohenbrink's doubly involved. And so was Tommy Withers. 4 cars involved. 5 cars. Looks like Pierce has got a big chunk of it. Riley Wright seems to be clear. But it seems like a lot of it's on Cody Meadows here. Alrighty, here's what happened. Coming out of turn 4, you see Meadows and Gabbard. Oh, that's why. Not the end of the world for Pierce there. You see, Hunterbrink got into him. Not sure how Withers was involved. Yeah, we don't really get to see Withers' involvement in the accident. We just know that he was involved, and he had a lot of damage. Alright, so under the 6th caution of the day, Cody Pennell leads over Davey Houck, Donald Ray, and Joshua Gaiman. Toby Estes in 5th, Tom Sears in 6th. As now the attrition begins to have an effect. All right. So 6th caution of the race. I want to step aside and get something to drink real quick. Don't go anywhere, because we're not. But more of the Charlotte 300 after this. Alrighty. Almost showtime once again. It's Pinnell and Davey Halk on the front row. When we go back to green, there will be 101 laps remaining. Twelve cars on the lead lap. Looks like 16 cars still running. Green flag back in the air, 101 laps to go here at Charlotte. We're almost halfway. It's Pinnell, Halk, Gaiman, and Ray, top four. Pinnell looking really good right now. Here's Gaiman, who's trying to chase down the race leader here. Cody Pinnell in the race lead. There's the top two in your screen. And that shot out of turn two told a pretty good tale. Sun beginning to set. It's getting darker. Soon the lights will be on. But it means the track's getting cooler. It means there's more grip coming back to the track. That's going to be kind of important. Gaiman's right on the bumper of Pinnell. We're on lap 106 of 200. Remember, stage 3 ends on lap 120. It's Pinnell and Gaiman. And there's trouble for James Pierce. And that might be his race done. That almost certainly will be his race done. Here's what happened. Oh, he got sent. He got sent by Bradley Wright. Oh, that's gonna be spicy. Wow. He got sent by Bradley Wright. We'll take another look at that. Yeah, he just got sent by Bradley right there. That just... There's gonna be some choice words there, I think. But that will be Pierce's race essentially done, I believe. To the top three, Pinnell, Gaiman, and Estes. Houck in fourth, Donna Ray in fifth, Jonathan Humbrink in sixth, Tom Sears in seventh. That's how it sits at the moment. And here's the top three on your screen again. Then it's a 3-second gap to Davey Houck. Ooh, Homebrink with a really good run. Homebrink. Not Homebrink, Gaiman. Joshua Gaiman with the lead. I think I was looking at Homebrink's name on the timing screen there, but it's Joshua Gaiman that takes the race lead. Looks like Pinnell got loose out of 4. And it's given Joshua Gaiman the race lead. Toby Estes trying to make something happen. Side drafting down the back straightaway. Coming to 6 to go in stage number 3. So it's Gaiman, Estes, and Cody Pinnell now top 3. Davey Houck in 4th. Donna Ray in 5th. Jonathan Homebrink sits in 6th still. Then it's Tom Sears, James Kerr, and Tristan Catani on top 9. Tommy Withers in the 10th spot. Bradley Wright, last car on the lead lap. 4 to go in stage 2. Alrighty, here we go. Coming to the 2 laps to go mark in stage 3. It's got Josh Gaiman. Cody Pennell's gotten back around Toby Estes. You see Pennell there. And Estes has lost a lot of time. That's the end of stage 3. Gaiman, Pennell, Estes, top 3. Davey Houck, Donald Ray, Jonathan Homebrink, Tom Sears, James Kerr, Tristan Catania, and Tommy Withers all score points in stage 3. So pit stop's underway here. Looks like Tom Sears still in pit lane, so is Tristan Catania. Like Catania made it back out just in time. So we'll have 12 cars on the lead lap. Gabbard got the lucky dog here. So he's in pit lane now. 12 cars on the lead lap. Several cars out of this race. Beamster, LaJoy, Meadows, Pierce all out. There'll be 15 cars running. When we go back racing, there will be 75 laps to go. 77 laps to go as of right now. Alrighty. One in the green here to begin stage number 4. 75 laps will be how many we have left when we go green. Gavin, Estes, Donald Ray. Actually, it looks like Donald Ray's in second place here. He chose the outside lane. Estes on the bottom in row 2 alongside Davey Howe. Cody Pennell in 5th. And I believe it's Jonathan Homebrink in 6th place. The sun fully behind the grandstands on the front straightaway now. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us here on Memorial Day weekend. We're about to go back to racing here. Again, 75 to go when we cross the line. It's Gaiman and Ray on the front row. 15 cars still running. Green flag is out. We're back at it. Racing at Charlotte. It's Ray, then it's Gaiman, then Ray and Estes side by side. Toby Estes makes quick work of Davey Howe. 3 wide behind them, that was Davey Howe, Cody Pennell, and Jonathan Homebrink, and Homebrink made off like a bandit. Riley Wright sitting in 7th, James Kerr in 8th, Tommy Withers in 9th, Tom Sears in 10th. Ooh, that's a car spun. It was James Kerr. What happened here? Oh, he got spun. He got spun by Withers. Really good job by everyone to avoid it. But yeah, that was... came off the nose of Withers. I don't know if Withers moved up or if Kerr moved down. See if we can get a better angle. That's a good angle. Alright, so we'll go slow here. No, Kerr came down. Kerr came down and Withers was there. That angle paints a way better picture. But the 8th caution of the night has come out. For James Kerr spinning in front of the field. So under the 8th caution of the race, it's Gaiman, Estes, and Ray. It's Gaiman, Estes, Ray, top 3. No one really came in from the lead group here. So we're going to get back going here with about 69 laps to go, I believe. Alrighty. Gaiman chose the outside lane. Estes chose the inside. Then you have Ray and Ponebrink on row 2. Alec and Cody Pennell, row 3. Then you have Bradley Wright and Tommy Withers, row 4. James Kerr and Tom Sears in row 5. Green flag back in the air, and that was a really good start by Estes. Estes was waiting for it, and he got it. So Estes will immediately be able to slide into second and give chase. There's the side-by-side. Estes, that's what he wanted. He wanted to be able to challenge Gaiman early and on the start here. And that's what he's got. Gaiman's going to keep battling him side-by-side here, but the outside lane might become the lane of choice. Early in this race, it was the inside lane, but as the track has cooled down, it's moved a little bit to the outside. But Gaiman's not giving up. Really good run by the 61 here as he stays alongside Toby Estes here. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle there, though. Every wiggle is going to cost him a little bit of time. Still side by side. Estes still trying to clear. Looks like he will clear this time. He will. Really good battling there by Estes and Gaiman. Donald Ray sitting in third as well. So Estes leads now, but this has been a pretty familiar situation. Estes has been in position to win more than once, but he's only got one race win to really show for it. Donald Ray was in position to capitalize when one of those times at Dover fell apart. Ray's beginning to fall back a little bit. Everyone's starting to gravitate towards that outside line. Now they're using the bottom. This is the battle for the race lead. Toby Estes and Joshua Gaiman, the 19 and the 61. Going at it. Both these drivers are locked into the next the A squared playoffs here. Yeah, Blanchett, Estes, Breo, Gaiman, Ray, Kerr, and Cody Pennell that have all won a race. Top three are pretty well. Top four is safe. You have to look at Davey Alkin, fifth, who's not won a race yet. Riley Wright's not yet won a race. Tom Sears is yet to win a race in this series. You have Tommy Withers, who hasn't yet won. Hunter Brink has not yet won. So a lot of drivers in the top 10 that could potentially be really interested here. Still racing here. Galen's not giving up on Toby Estes here. Gas are getting to open up a little bit on Joshua Game, and Toby Estes getting to kind of open it up a little bit. I believe there's a green flag pit stop left in this race, but things have Gaiman in second, Donald Ray in third. Still hanging in there. It's still about a second between the top three, so it's not like it's a wide gap. Yeah, Cody Pennell sitting in fourth. Then you have Davey Houck, Bradley Wright, Tommy Withers in the top 7 in this race. 15 cars still running. Looking at Cody Pennell in fourth. Here's Davey Houck in fifth, not too far behind. 15 cars still running. 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 15 Yeah, Bradley Wright in the 6th spot. Tommy Withers in 7th. James Kerr in 8th. There's Jonathan Holmberg in 9th, so they're pretty close in the battle here for 8th place. Tom Sears holding on to a top 10 at the moment. Then there's Tristan Catania and Terry Gabbard, the last car on the lead lap so far, with less than 50 laps to go. Jacob Blankenship 1 lap down, 6 laps down for Patrick Allen. You see the damage on the right side of that car. And then you see Ryan Pinnell, who is 27 laps down at the moment. This has been such a good battle to sort of just follow. As Susan Gaiman putting it all on the line there as pit stops, it looks like they've begun for Terry Gabbard at least, with about 40 laps to go. Top 3 have not gone anywhere. All 3 race winners prior to tonight, so all this helps them is bonus points in the playoffs when the playoffs start later this year. Gaiman comes in, Ray stays out. So does Estes. Money stops here at Charlotte. Who's got him and who doesn't? Toby Estes, Donald Ray stay out. Davey Houck stays out as well as Bradley Wright. Those that came in, Gaiman and Cody Pinnell. So 3rd and 4th on the road have come in. We'll see where they slot out. Estes stays out again. So does Donald Ray. So Gaiman goes a lap down. He's exiting pit lane now. But pit stops are well and earnestly begun. When does the race leader come in? When does Toby Estes come in? Gonna be the magic question. This could work out brilliantly for Joshua Gaiman and Cody Pennell. Both of them came in together. Donald Ray came in, so did Tom Sears. Estes comes in. James Kerr stays out. Almost got spun by Cody Pennell. You see the closing right there. There's Joshua Gaiman. Well, pretty well ahead by 6 seconds over Cody Pennell. Blankenship has not yet pit. Blankenship's last pit stop was on lap 132. So Gaiman should inherit the lead here. That undercut that Gaiman pulled off was the key. He's gained 15 spots in this race. He's in the race lead by 5.7. Cody Pennell, third. Donald Ray had a really bad pit stop. He may have a penalty. This is the battle for second place. Estes and Cody Pennell. The gap opening up a little bit between Estes and Cody Pennell. There's Pennell in third. Davey Houck is up to fourth place, as it's largely thinned out a little bit. Here's Joshua Gaiman, our race leader, with 24 laps to go. It's a 2.3 second gap, so that gap is coming down for Joshua Gaiman. Like, there's Toby Estes here in second place. That gap is starting to come down. It was almost 6 seconds. The issue is that you're racing against time. You got 22 laps to get to Joshua Gaiman and then get by it. Oh, that gap's coming down significantly. It's down to 1.1 and counting. Now the gap's less than a second. I wonder if Gaiman's trying to save fuel, because he pit several laps before. Gaiman pit on lap 161. Estes pit on lap 165. That'd be interesting to figure out. Here's the battle. So 17 to go. I do have to wonder if Gaiman is trying to save fuel. It sounded like he was off the throttle a lot, while Estes was catching up. So I wonder if he was on the clutch and coasting it. It would make sense. Which, if that's the case, where's the line between being negative and being good to the finish? Really interesting questions here. We sort of let the racing talk for itself a little bit. It's been pretty spread out, but strategy has become really important here. Gaiman and Pinnell both pit on lap 161 as Gaiman goes into the wall. That was the last thing he needed to do. But that's what's happened here. So now Toby Estes is pretty well in the clear with 14 laps to go, unless the yellow comes out within that time span. Coming to the final 12 laps here at Charlotte for the 300 miles. Coming to 10 laps to go. Gaiman is actually in danger of potentially losing third here, or losing second, because there's Cody Pinnell. Davey Howe pretty far back. Riley Wright in fifth. Tom Sears in sixth. Kerr seventh. Hohenbrink is in eighth. The first car one lap down to this man, Toby Estes. Less than 10 to go, 9 to go. Here at Charlotte. Less than 15 miles left to run. It's been a long race. Toby Estes was battling confidence issues. Seemed like he was finding ways to lose these races in every way possible. Look at him now. 8 to go. Firmly in control of this race. Been a very entertaining race. It's been a very long race. But here we go. Six laps left. Toby Estes has a 4.95 second lead over Joshua Gaiman. James Kerr, the next car, Toby Estes is chasing down, trying to lap. That'll put 6 cars on the lead lap here in the last 5+ laps of the race. So it'll be 5 to go when he crosses the line. What a way. What a way to top off this Memorial Day weekend. Three to go. Kerr was trying to stay on the lead lap. Estes just wants to put him a lap down. I'm pretty sure Estes just wants to finish this race as soon as possible. They've been at it for a while. Two laps to go. Toby Estes in the Bluegrass Bandits crew. Coming out of 4. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at Charlotte. Firmly in control and in poise. 7.7 in hand to Joshua Gaiman. Going through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Toby Estes comes to the checkered flag. He's got 2 race wins now. He wins the Charlotte 300. There you go. There you go. Toby Estes, your race winner here at Charlotte. Over Joshua Gaiman and Cody Pennell. Really good run by Toby Estes there. The question was, when was Toby going to get a win? Now he's won 2 on the trot. He won at Kansas, and now he's won here at Charlotte. He's feeling pretty good. Yeah, I bet he's feeling great right now. 2 race wins now for Toby Estes. Fantastic. Going to begin our interviews here. Going to start with P3. We're going to start with Cody Pennell. Hey, Cody, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Clayton.
Alrighty, man. P3. That was definitely a longer one, but super competitive all throughout the race. How did you feel tonight?
Felt good for, first race back in a good while. The track is really difficult with this car. It's just a kind of a tricky combination. Coming off a 2 one time there in the last stage of the race, I had the wheel cranked 180 degrees to the right trying to save it from a slide. Toasted my rear tires. Just kind of had to stick it out for that run, and I was hoping that, when the pit stops came, I would be able to undercut. And I saw Josh pit there. I didn't even look at the laps, so I went down with him to try and avoid him undercutting us, and we were actually about 2 laps short. So the last 15 laps of the race, I was clutching it in, going in the turns, and I crossed the line with 0.2 in the tank. So glad to bring it home P3. Got to give a shout out to Team Sideswipe as always, and Ryan. He actually was the one that helped me kind of figure the track out tonight. Just hooking that low line was easily the fastest way around here, and I also got to give a congratulations to Toby. He drove a heck of a race tonight.
Yeah, I was wondering about the strategy because we noticed that Gaiman had to save fuel, that he was doing that hold the clutch and coast through the corners type deal. We hadn't really seen a long run of that proportion prior to that. We saw in practice, it seemed like the car was pretty planted. Was this one of the easier tracks that we've been to so far this season?
The last race I ran was Atlanta, so I would say compared to Atlanta, yeah, it was a little easier. But again, with this car, it's just the best way to describe it is that the car is always on top of the track. I mean, you never know what it's going to do. Like off of turn 2 that one time, not once the whole race had it done that to me. And I don't even think anybody was on my outside. I got in the gas and the back end just took off out from under me. So, yeah, I mean, compared to Atlanta and some of the other tracks we've ran, I'd say this was a little bit easier. And especially on that long run when it got tight, it was a lot easier to drive. But on fresh tires, when you're firing off, you had to kind of be up on the wheel because it would have got away from you any minute on corner exit.
Well, congrats on the P3. Obviously, when you look at the large scheme of things, all 3 of you in the top 3 had already won a race, so you're already locked into the playoffs. But compounding some good performances here, obviously the next few races going to start getting a little bit rougher. If I can pull up the schedule here real quick, kind of give you an idea as to what's coming up here. Yeah, Gateway coming up next week. And then you have Sonoma. 2 races that are going to be completely different than what we've seen so far for the most of the season. We had Kansas, Charlotte. Obviously, we had some short ovals. Going into these next couple races, how difficult is this going to be for you guys to all just sort of adapt? Obviously, a road course race. We've only done one road course this season. That was Coda. Is Sonoma going to be easier than Coda? And how do you guys feel going into Gateway for the first time?
Gateway is kind of one of those unknown type of deals. It's somewhat considered a short track. So that's always interesting, but it's a lot higher speed than, say, like Martinsville or somewhere like that. So I think the racing will be good there if everybody's patient. And Sonoma, with this car, Sonoma has so many off-camber turns where the car gets light at the top of a crest or something like that it's it's like driving on ice. So Sonoma should be pretty tricky. Hopefully everybody gets in a lot of practice for that race, but looking forward to it.
Well, Cody, it's 11 p.m. It was a very long race. Obviously, you shout out Team Sideswipe, always a big team effort over there. But if there's anyone else you want to shout out, the floor is yours, man. Congrats on another podium. Going to be a tough few weeks coming up, but a lot of momentum after tonight. putting you in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that's right. I just got to shout out Ryan for putting all this on. A squared is his thing, and I've had a blast running these races every time I come out. And again, Team Sideswipe, and I always got to thank you for doing the broadcast. We appreciate that. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, Cody, congrats on another P3 here, another podium here in the season. We'll see you next week at Gateway. Enjoy Memorial Day, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Clayton.
That was Cody Pinnell, our P3 finisher, finished third place to Toby Estes, who is in your screen. He's been enjoying some burnouts there. Next up on the list is going to be Joshua Game in second place. So close, yet so far from another race win. Hey, Joshua, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alrighty, man. Really close, really good battling between you, Toby, Cody, and Donald Ray there for most of that last stanza. Heard from Cody that he was a couple laps short. He pitted with you. How short were you on fuel there, and how much were you trying to save, and ultimately do you think it mattered?
I mean, it definitely mattered. I was about 2.5 laps short, and whenever I pulled out of the pits, I noticed I had like a 5.5 second lead, and I was just like, well, I got to give it up to save the fuel, and I was still about, I think, like half a lap short by that point. And then once I hit the wall, I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna finish second. I can take it.
What made you pit so early?
Well, funny enough, I couldn't see my lap counter. Something was going on with my my VR, and yeah, so I was like, this seems about like the right time to go in. And I pit, and I was like, it's kind of close, but sometimes the fuel levels they fluctuate a little bit whenever you're coming out of the pits and stuff, and once everything got settled, that's where I was like, crap.
It's funny you mentioned VR issues, because Kevin Feemster, the 8 car, also had VR issues. I wonder if that's a more widespread thing. Yeah, because we heard you kind of clutching and coasting. Was that really the only way you could save fuel? Was just clutching? And how hard were you clutching and coasting and trying to give up that time?
I was clutching, maybe 30, 40 feet from where I'd normally lift, and then right at the point where I knew I could put it full throttle again is where I was just, going from clutch to gas and just, getting as much speed as I could for the next corner. But yeah, that's literally all I could really think of to do. I mean, you can try to hug the bottom a little bit more. I was trying to keep it down, but sometimes, if you're just riding a clutch, so you don't have any engine braking, and it just kind of messes you up.
Obviously, you've won a race before this season, so you're already locked into the playoffs coming up later this year. That's not an issue for you. It's just more about bonus points at this point. You've been consistently a threat. I asked Cody this, and Cody's like, I really don't know how this is going to go. Next two races, Gateway and Sonoma. How familiar are you with those next two races, and how do you feel your chances are to get another win, to get some of those bonus points accumulated? How good do you think your chances are at those two races coming up? Because we're getting to the wacky part of the schedule here.
Yeah, Gateway's definitely an interesting one for these cars. You'd probably even be shifting a bit. I haven't really driven them with the Cup car. I've only ever raced that track, I think, with maybe like the ARCA car, and everything else has been open wheel, the Indy car, the Indy Pro. I don't have a lot of stock car experience there, but I like the track, so I'm definitely excited to go there. And Sonoma's a road course, and I mean, if I hadn't had my issues at Coda, I had a chance to win that one, so hopefully I could do just as good as Sonoma. I'm definitely excited to go there and get more points there.
Well, Joshua, you finished on the podium. We've been through this enough. I've interviewed you enough here, so you kind of know the whole spiel. But if you want to shout at anybody, we had a decent amount of people check in the night. It was a long race. We had people in and out all throughout the night. If there's anyone you want to shout out, anyone to say thank you to, obviously we see that you're still running. You've run the tribute to your crane car all season long. But if there's anyone you want to shout out and you want to say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. You finished second place after a very long and demanding race. You've more than earned it.
Yeah, well, I mean, heck, that was like something like almost 3 hours or whatever it was
Yeah.
of heat racing and LCQs and stuff. So yeah, if anybody that stuck around for the whole stream, that's for sure. Shout out to those guys. They're probably about 20 beers in at this point. Uh, you guys, you for doing the broadcast, because it's always nice to have on the. I always have it on the side and listening in, and just seeing what's going on. Where I can't see.
Yeah.
Is always really nice. And then having all the admins and stuff put the league together. It's been a lot of fun. Because I came from a league that was doing 100% races and it just shut down for no reason. So I had to find somewhere to go and found this league at the beginning of the season, luckily. So it's been really fun.
Well, we're glad you're here. You've been really quick. Another podium to kind of add to your accolades here. Before we let you go, I have to say happy Memorial Day. I hope you enjoy tomorrow. Can't wait to see you at Gateway. Can't wait to see how much you kind of put together at Gateway. Obviously, both of us from open wheel backgrounds here. So I definitely get you on that one. But definitely looking forward to see what you can put together next week.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, and same to you.
Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
That was Joshua Gaiman, our second place finisher here tonight, here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Charlotte 300. Now it's time for the main event. Now it's time for the man of the hour, Toby Estes, for the Bluegrass Bandits. Hey, Toby, this is Clayton from the ABN booth, from the Arch Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Sure do.
Awesome. What a drive. 2 in a row. We were wondering, okay, I remember at one point we were asking the question, when are you going to get a race win? Now you've got 2 in a row. You're the second person that's gotten 2 in a row behind Breo, because Breo dominated early. How fun was that race for you? Obviously, you had a lot of fun. It looked a lot of fun battling, at least with Gaiman and Ray and Cody Pinnell there. But just how much fun was it tonight, and how good do you feel after that race?
It was a lot of fun and frustrating at the same time. For me personally, the first half of the race wasn't what I was wanting. Kind of pushed the car too hard, especially with the sun being on the track. So I tried to just put myself in the right position, because I knew once the sun went down, that's whenever I was personally the best. And thankfully, it paid off.
Let's see, a good question. I didn't think about this when I asked everyone else. How much did the track change as the sun was going down? Obviously you know that the temperature is going to change. Just how dramatic was it, and how much did it change how you approached the track? Were you just waiting for the track to come to you, or were you having to chase the track?
Me personally, I just ran the same line the entire race. The line I was running with the sun on the track, it wasn't the best, but after the sun went down, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I pretty much did not leave the bottom. I could put my left sides on that on the paint, and it would just rotate. I had the same lift point on every lap, and after 25, 30 plus laps of being able to use the same lift point and the same throttle, picking it up on the exit, I mean, you're going to make up a lot of time.
So the last pit stop was under green. Was the only pit stops really we had under green. We know that Gaiman and Pinnell pit too early. How close were you on fuel there? Obviously, we saw your celebrations. You had some fuel in the tank. But how much fuel were you able to sort of end up with at the end there to just be able to cruise by? Because Gaiman had to coast. He was clutching and coasting the entire time. And Cody had to do the same. Where was that line, do you think? When do you think you could have come in and still been safe?
I think they probably pitted a few laps early. Whenever they pit, I was like, I don't think they're going to be good. So I'm going to push it as far as I could. I mean, I pushed it. I was sputtering coming down pit road. At the end of the race, I was, I think, 2.5 laps to the good. So I was at least able to do a few burnouts, but, and I was pushing too. I knew I was going to be good, and I was trying to get every lap. I was trying to be as fast as I could in order to catch Gaiman.
That's interesting because typically, at least from what I've seen from everyone else, like they weren't pushing it all the way to the fuel margin. They were giving themselves a little bit of a buffer. Just with that long, that's probably one of the longest runs we've had all season. Physically, how do you think you held up tonight? Obviously, you had the Indy 500 on Wednesday, and then obviously Charlotte tonight. How do you feel? It's been a long week of racing. How do you feel physically getting ready to go into short track racing over the next week or two, and then Sonoma after Gateway?
Oh man, after the Indy 500, I'm not gonna lie, that was my first Indy race. I was sore, completely sore. The truck race, I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna show up and see how the track is, and then transition what I learned from the trucks over to this race. I'm honestly completely wore out, but I loved every minute of it.
Or obviously, hard to be upset when you're able to win in dominant fashion by about 8 seconds over Joshua Gaiman there. We've had the song and dance now a couple times, that either as you being on the podium or now you've won 2 in a row. But if you have anyone you want to shout out, obviously Bluegrass Bandits were big tonight. Not obviously the most consistent results. Davey was in 4th there, so a really good run for him. Briley was in 5th. But if you have anyone you want to shout out, anyone you say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. You got a second race win in a row. Starting to look really good going into the summer here.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but huge shout out to the Taylor County Detention Center where I actually work at. With this being Memorial Day weekend, last week I actually lost a fellow deputy that I'd worked with for about 6 years. Lost him in the line of duty. So tonight I was racing for Mark Pike, 1603. Huge NASCAR fan. I was coming into this weekend with the mindset of winning. Anything short of that was going to be a disappointment for me personally. So definitely happy to be able to get that win. Shout out to his family, his wife, and his only son. If you guys are watching, just this is for him, and he's surely missed.
Well, our condolences not only to you, but to his family and his friends as well. The motivation was very evident during this race. You were elbows out. You had a really good battle there. What a race and what a way to win on Memorial Day weekend. And Toby, congratulations on your race win. Obviously, with Gateway and Sonoma coming up, it's going to be a wild couple weeks. But congratulations on your race win. It was a very stellar performance all the way through. Have a good Memorial Day. Relax. Rest up. We'll see you at Gateway next week.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to you too, man. You do a fantastic job.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Alrighty, that was Toby Estes, our race winner here at Charlotte for the Charlotte 300, one of the longest races of the year in ARX. Well deserved for Toby Estes, racing with a lot on his heart and a lot of motivation there, and he got the win. Here's what the results look like. Toby Estes, the race winner for Bluegrass Bandits. Joshua Gaiman in 2nd. Cody Pinnell in 3rd place. Then you have Davey Houck in 4th. Briley Wright will round out the top 5. So 3 of the Bluegrass Bandit cars in the top 5. Tom Sears finished in 6th. James Kerr in 7th. The first car 1 lap down. Then is Jonathan Homebrink in 8th. Jacob Blankenship in 9th place. Donald Ray rounds out the top 10. And that number 5 for Outlaw Racing. Tristan Catania rounds out 11th place. Patrick Allen in 12th. Ryan Pinnell 13th. The last of those that finished the race. Then we see our DNFs, Tommy Withers in 14th, Terry Gabbard in 15th, James Pierce in 16th on his debut. Won stage 1, but his race de-escalated down there and ended up with contact with Bradley Wright, ending his day. Cody Meadows 17th, Mike LaJoy in the 18th spot. And then the last car classified, Kevin Feemster in 19th, and then number 8 having technical issues, as we mentioned briefly during those interviews with Joshua Gaiman. But there is your finishing order. Toby Estes, 2 in a row, Kansas and Charlotte. But now the intermediates are going to kind of go away for a little bit. It's Gateway, then Sonoma, then Nashville Superspeedway, then Road America. We don't go back to another intermediate track until Atlanta, and that's after Independence Day. That's 5 weeks away. So everyone's going to have to try to buckle in, get back in the short track racing mode, and get into road course racing mode. It's going to be very, very intense, very, very fun to watch. For everyone that tuned in on your Memorial Day weekend, we appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the racing. That last stanza of the race from the beginning of Stage 4 onwards was a blast. Toby Estes, our race winner over Joshua Gaiman and Cody Pennell. They round out the podium here at Charlotte for the Charlotte 300. Next time we see you, it will be at Gateway Motorsports Park, the WeatherTech Worldwide Technology Raceway. I was about to say Laguna Seca. Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois. We'll see you 7:30 on Sunday next week. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy,